Gather round, all of you, closer to the fire. Yes, Mr. Weasley, you may bring that blanket if you must, but do try not to set it alight again. It is a foul night outside, and the chill seems to seep through the very stones tonight. I thought perhaps a story would serve better than another round of exploding snap. Sit still and listen. This is no tale for amusement. It is a warning, one I wish more had heeded in times past. You have all felt the presence of Dementors, have you not? Those wretched creatures that guard Azkaban. You have felt the cold they bring, the way joy drains from the air like water through cracked stone. But few know how they came to be, or why the prison itself stands on that forsaken rock in the North Sea. It began in the 15th century. A wizard named Ekrizdis, though whether that was his true name or one he claimed in his madness, we shall never know, built a fortress there, far from prying eyes. He was no ordinary dark wizard. He sought something far more perilous than power or immortality. He sought to bind death itself. Ekrizdis believed death was a force that could be tamed, harnessed, made to serve. He studied the foulest arts, spells long forbidden, even in his day. On that bleak island he drew circles in blood upon the cliffs. He lured Muggle sailors, lost in storms, desperate for shelter. He offered them warmth, food, safety, and when they set foot on the rocks, the torment began. Not for information, not for cruelty alone, for fear, pure distilled terror. He believed that if he harvested enough of it, the raw panic of a soul facing its end, he could forge a guardian from that despair. A servant eternal, loyal beyond life, and in his twisted way he succeeded. The first Dementors did not appear by incantation. They were born from the island's agony, from Ekrizdis's own terror, mirrored and magnified 1,000-fold. With every scream that faded into the fog, something lingered, a shadow, a hollow hunger. Pale, hooded shapes rose from the ruins of his dungeons, eyeless, yet they saw, mouthless, yet they drew breath. They fed on the last flickers of happiness in dying minds. He called them his children. Imagine that. Children born not of love, but of stolen joy and broken spirits. They multiplied. They filled the fortress, drifting through the mist like winter made manifest. When Ekrizdis perished, whether by his own creations or by the weight of his solitude, no one can say. His concealing charms failed. The island emerged from the fog like a bruise on the sea. Ministry auras arrived, expecting a madman's ruin. They found something far worse. Dementors everywhere, unkilling, unstoppable. Minister Damocles' role gazed upon them and felt the same cold we all know too well. But where others saw only horror, he saw utility. Why destroy them, he declared. Why not make them serve? And so Azkaban became a prison. From around 1718 onward, the walls rose higher, the cells deepened. The Dementors remained eternal wardens. They cannot be slain, for they are already echoes of death. They sustain themselves on despair, and in return, they bind the prisoner more surely than any chain. Some of you have heard the cries. In the deepest nights, when the cold presses hardest, faint sounds drift through the bars. Not true children, no, but echoes. Tiny, broken sobs, like infants abandoned to the snow. Some whisper they are the remnants of those Muggle sailors whose fear birthed the Horde. Others say the Dementors themselves remember what they once were, before hunger consumed everything else. I will tell you this plainly. Do not listen too long to those cries. They do not call for rescue. They call you closer, to the place where one man tried to chain death and instead unleashed it. Now, enough of shadows for one evening. The fire is low, and tomorrow brings transfiguration at 8 sharp. No excuses about lost sleep. Off to bed with you. And remember, true courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let it rule you. Good night, children. And mind the portraits, they gossip worse than house elves after too much butterbeer.